The entire opposition of this country has to ask itself some questions. Questions about what they are doing. It's also a moment for introspection and also a moment for asking some questions. Questions to themselves and questions to the system. Tamil Nadu looks like a breath of fresh air. Tamil Nadu looks like, okay, this is what democracy can produce. Such a mighty ruling party can be brought down by the people, by an unknown person. The voters decided the government. Now the government decides the voters. The government is choosing its voters. How can we call that democracy? So the opposition must honestly introspect on this. The opposition must come together. Right now, the opposition did not show any serious signs of unity. Today, we can say the window is shut. And that is what gives rise to two set of questions.
Hello and welcome to Yogendra.com. This is the final discussion on this day of election 2026, and we have Professor Yogendra Yadav with us. Yogendra, welcome to Yogendra.com. You have participated in countless discussions on the election day results so far, but I think today is not the same day for you because in the last 3.5 decades you have participated in many discussions. Do you agree with this, and if so, what is the difference today?
The real difference, Dr. Vasu, is that today we face a very big question. And the question is whether India's electoral integrity now is at a level which is below the minimum acceptable threshold. Let me spell that out. Now, the ideal of elections is that we should have a level playing ground. That is in theory, and that ideal situation never applies in any country.
In all the previous elections also it was uneven elections.
Yeah. But 50 years ago also it was uneven. And in the pre-Modi era also it was not entirely even. That has always been the case. So you think of, all right, it's not quite even, but does the opposition have a fair chance of defeating the ruling party if they are, if they have some popular support? Now, that is the threshold that you use. So there is some minimal threshold below which you say, well, then we don't really know what to make of these elections. And today, looking at West Bengal, we face this question. But maybe I should come to West Bengal later and look at other states which look somewhat simpler to analyze. This, to my mind, is an important question. Today is an important day because anyone who believes in democracy, anyone who believes in fair elections, anyone who believes in the logic of democratic transformation has to ask himself some questions. The entire opposition of this country has to ask itself some questions. Questions about what they are doing. It's also a moment for introspection and also a moment for asking some questions. Questions to themselves and questions to the system. Questions to themselves are whether the opposition is indeed capable of taking on this steamroller of the BJP. 2024 elections offered us a window, a sudden window opened up, which of course began with Karnataka earlier in 2023. That window of opportunity, if breath of fresh air, suddenly has closed. It has been narrowing for the last 2 years with Maharashtra, with Haryana, with Bihar. The window was narrowing down. Today, we can say the window is shut. And that is what gives rise to two set of questions. One is about opposition's own strategy, opposition's own capability, opposition's own imagination, opposition's own election machinery, and the absence of all this. But the second thing has to do with the election system, role of the election commission, and the minimum level of threshold of electoral integrity. Both these questions have to be confronted. Let us not delude ourselves with the result in Kerala. I know some friends would be very excited. Congress is back in Kerala. To my mind, it's a very routine oscillation, nothing to be particularly proud of or to feel good about. In any case, the party being replaced is another opposition party. In this oscillation, the only consolation the opposition can have is that BJP, when I last looked at the outcome, the BJP had not added much to its vote percentage. So BJP has kind of been halted. But as we know, these halts can be very temporary. Tamil Nadu looks like a breath of fresh air. Tamil Nadu looks like, okay, this is what democracy can produce. Such a mighty ruling party can be brought down by the people, by an unknown person, by a newcomer.
You think
All that
that's
is
a
true.
pleasant surprise of today's result?
It is a surprise, and I would say it is a surprise that affirms democracy. That established ruling parties can be taken on by rank outsiders and can be brought down. Whether you are pro-DMK or anti-DMK, that doesn't matter. But the fact that rank outsiders can come and take on the mightiest in power is a very democratic outcome. The trouble is that that is a non-replicable model. Tamil Nadu is unique. Tamil Nadu is unique because number one, the frame of Dravidian politics is already set. And number two, the state has had a track record of film stars coming in from outside and offering political alternative. Basically, what happened in Tamil Nadu was this, that DMK, which had become the sole representative of the Dravid movement and its legacy, was not quite being liked by the people, and any dominance brings in its own arrogance, its own complacency, all that was there. So there was a need for change. AIDMK was not capable of offering that change because AIDMK itself was fragmenting, reuniting. You did not know who was AIDMK. And secondly, it was associated with the BJP. So it looked like a franchisee. It looked like a, Chennai franchisee of a Delhi political party. Obviously, people of Tamil Nadu don't like it. So there was a vacuum. And the vacuum was filled by Vijay, following the footsteps of Annadurai and MGR, which is a path well trodden in Tamil Nadu politics. The trouble is that that path is not available in the rest of the country. So it is unique, it is remarkable, it is awe-inspiring, but it is non-replicable. That takes us to the remaining two big states. Assam. You could say that in Assam, the results are tainted because of delimitation. Assam did not have an SIR problem because it actually did not have an SIR, proper SIR. So there's no problem of voter deletion in Assam, while it should have been the case, but that's a different matter. Assam has seen delimitation.
And delimitation state of redrawing the boundaries of the assembly.
That's right. All the boundaries of assembly and parliamentary constituencies were redrawn in 2023, unlike the rest of the country where it happened in 2007. And it was done in such a partisan manner. I mean, it is a classic example of cheating through and through. If you look at those boundary maps, and I would request Edina to just run an article and just show the maps of these constituencies, which will open the eyes of everyone. So this is how they did it. They did it, and then that gave BJP an unfair advantage. However, I would not say that BJP has won only because of delimitation. I would not say that delimitation made a decisive difference. To my mind, what happened in Assam is a classic example of failure of opposition's imagination, failure of opposition's strategy, failure of opposition's machinery. It is almost a textbook example of how not to fight election. So the opposition needs to think hard about it. The opposition needs to learn. And this is one thing that the opposition needs to seriously reflect on. That brings us to West Bengal, because the real lesson and the hardest questions are about West Bengal today. What we have witnessed is the much awaited conquest of Bengal, which is what BJP wanted. Because this is not so much election. This is the Ashwamedha Yagya, which is taking place. And Bengal is where the horse was stopped. And what we have witnessed today is that juggernaut has rolled over Bengal as well. Now, that's possible. In democracy, these things do happen. And let us be honest, it could not have happened if there was no resentment, unhappiness with the ruling party. TMC has been ruling for the last 15 years. And through this period, there has been what is routinely called anti-incumbency. But what is anti-incumbency? It's
Exactly,
not
because
a
except in Assam and the Union Territory Puducherry, in all the three places, the voters have also voted against the incumbent government. So that people should
exactly,
call
but
that also
in,
as the beauty of democracy.
yeah, but anti-incumbency is not an itch of the voter. Anti-incumbency is a euphemism for people's uneasiness, disappointment, and anger with the rulers. So there was an element of that, something that friends of TMC or friends of the opposition may have seriously underestimated. We should not beat about the bush. We should not avoid this conclusion. This anti-incumbency was probably not so much directed at Mamata Banerjee personally, but at her local leaders, and the fact that many of the schemes actually were not reaching the people. So yes, there was that element. Having said it, I think we must then confront the biggest question, which is, was this anti-incumbency enough to cause what has happened? If you watch all the television channels, they would give you this answer. Yes, of course, there was anti-incumbency. There was AG Car, RG Car, there was this scandal, there was that corruption, and so on and so forth. And that's why Mamata Banerjee has lost. I don't think that's an adequate answer. All this is true, but that explains only part of the answer. The other part is something very, very uncomfortable, which is about the role of the central government and the role of the Election Commission of India. The fact is that central government simply did not let the TMC run many of the welfare schemes that it wanted to, which were being run all over the country. For example, Manrega was stopped for so many years. Manrega was not allowed to be run in West Bengal before Manrega was actually brought to an end by the government. But before that, West Bengal government could not use Manrega. The Pradhan Mantri Gram Awas Yojana was also stopped in West Bengal. So basically, the idea was to choke the government. Every other government has the resources, even if their budget does not allow, to offer a bribe of 10,000 rupees just a few weeks before election. West Bengal has no such thing. I'm not saying West Bengal should have bribed. All I'm saying is, compared to every other state, West Bengal has been put to a special disadvantage because of the role of the central government. Then comes the role of the EC and the extraordinary way in which the election is conducted. BJP launches a campaign of vicious communal hatred, the kind of advertisements BJP issued, the kind of public statements that it made. This morning, Suvendu Adhikari was being interviewed on some television channel, and I had to watch it. In 10 minutes interview, Suvendu Adhikari spoke of Hindu Muslim at least 15 times. Now, so you launch this kind of a campaign, which is illegal, which is against any democratic practice, which should have been stopped by the Election Commission. Commission doesn't stop. The Commission does everything possible to help the BJP, including the officials that are brought out from outside, including the role of the Central Security Forces, and so on and so forth. But the biggest issue of them all is SIR. Please remember, and I want all your viewers to understand, that SIR in Bengal was different from SIR in any other state of the country. All over the country, large number of names have been deleted because they were absent, dead, shifted, or they were duplicate. In Bengal, also 58 lakh names were deleted because of that. In the rest of the country, once those names are deleted, then corrections were made and the number of deleted names were brought down in every single state. In Tamil Nadu, for example, from 97 lakh, the deletions went down to 73 lakhs. Only in West Bengal, after the first round, the deletions went up from 58 lakhs to 90 lakhs. So additional 32 or 33 lakh names have been deleted in West Bengal. Now remember, these are names of persons who have filled an enumeration form, who have gone for a hearing, who have submitted their documents. In most cases, they have given either a metric certificate or a birth certificate, sometimes PAN card. And in a large number of cases, they have submitted their passport of India, yet their names have been struck off. This is the unusual thing about Bengal. And now we know that much of these things were targeted, that about 2/3 of these names are Muslims, although in Bengal's population, only a little more than quarter are Muslims. We know that this is happening in TMC areas. So as right now, as we are talking, the BJP's lead over the TMC is a little over 4%. And the number of names that have been deleted, if you take 33 lakh names as the standard of deletion, then we are looking at about 5.5% of deletions. So the question is, if the Election Commission had allowed the 27 lakh names, or ideally the 32 lakh names, which were deleted post the first list, what would be the outcome? That is a question that is bound to be asked, because earlier we were speaking of vote chori. This one looks like election chori. Again, let me underline, I'm not saying that there was no anti-incumbency, but when you try to explain something, you look at the operational reason. You say, okay, in the absence of this, would the result have been different? And it clearly seems that SIR and the role of the Election Commission was that determining factor which made all the difference. And that forces the opposition to think very hard. The question now is, have we fallen below the minimum acceptable threshold of electoral integrity? We were never 100% clean, but have we now fallen below the pass mark? How does the opposition not end up legitimizing election results which have been pre-decided without seeming to run away from the battleground? How does where and when does the opposition draw the line? If not now, if not in the case of West Bengal? These are the difficult questions that we need to think about.
Yogendraji, you are the person who alerted everybody about SAR in Bihar. You conducted Jansunwise there, you went to the Supreme Court, but where do you think that the opposition parties went wrong? Starting
Well,
from
it's not
Bihar
just the
to West
opposition.
Bengal.
To my mind, at least in the case of Bengal, you cannot accuse the TMC of being lazy, of being complacent. Because in all fairness, Mamata Banerjee raised the SIR question at every possible stage. She herself went to the Supreme Court, and TMC raised this. The TMC was alert. In the case of Bihar, I felt the opposition did not raise it sufficiently and did not do much work on the ground. In the case of Bengal, you cannot say that the opposition did not raise it. They raised it sufficiently. They were very powerful in raising it. I really wish the entire opposition in the entire country should have raised it as powerfully as it was raised in the case of West Bengal. But in general, we should speak of the Supreme Court as well, because it's not just the Election Commission which let that happen. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court also put its seal on the deletion of these 27 lakh people. The same Supreme Court, which was so kind, so generous, so liberal about allowing people to vote in the Supreme Court Bar Association. The Supreme Court said that even those people whose names were added, whose names were added after the last date, they should also be allowed to vote because the delay was not their own fault. But the same Supreme Court could say to 27 lakh people, it's all right if you don't get to vote this time, you'll get to vote next time.
Yeah.
So that's a shocking part of, how can a Supreme Court say something of this kind? And that, I'm afraid, is a question that is bound to be posed, because in the course of hearing, the honorable judge had speculated what would happen if in one case the total number of votes deleted are more and the margin of victory is less. Now we could actually almost face the same situation at the level of the entire state, because at least as of now, the margin of victory and the number of votes deleted appears to be about the same. What does it do to the entire state's election outcome? So these are very uncomfortable questions that the Supreme Court also has to ask, because our entire system now is going in a direction. And I say so once again, without one bit forgetting the problems and weaknesses of the opposition, which I have been speaking about again and again. But it must also be registered that that these are beginning to look like curated outcomes. Earlier, the voters decided the government. Now the government decides the voters. The government is choosing its voters. How can we call that democracy?
Yes, Yogendra, I know that you're busy today and we have a lot to discuss, but I just want to ask you the last question. Now, what do you think that the opposition parties and all the democratic minded people in this country have to do after this West Bengal verdict?
Introspect and speak out, both. Introspect about their own failures, introspect about not just about the record of TMC in West Bengal, but also introspect about the record of Congress in Karnataka, about the Congress government in Telangana, about the Aam Aadmi Party government in Punjab, and about the Congress government in Himachal. I'm listing only those governments which are coming up for elections in the next few years. We have to be very honest about looking at what their performance has been. And if there is any even small problem in their performance, of course, it will be highlighted, it will be exploited by the entire media and by the entire system. So the opposition must honestly introspect on this. The opposition must come together. Right now, the opposition did not show any serious signs of unity. The opposition has to stand together. And finally, the opposition has to sit together and ask this big question. When and where do we draw this line? If not now, when? If not at West Bengal, where?
Thank you, Yogendra. Thanks a lot. But very soon we'll have to discuss again, not just for Karnataka viewers, but all the other state about what should be done now. Thank you. Busy day you joined us. Thanks a lot.
ಮತ್ತಷ್ಟು ವಿಶೇಷ ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಳನ್ನು ನೋಡಲು ಮತ್ತು ಹೊಸ ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳಿಯಲು
ಈ ದಿನ .com ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತು ಬೆಲ್ ಐಕಾನ್ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ.